Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is officially February, so it is officially my birth month. Yay! But first, we need to talk about the books I read in January. Unfortunately for me though, January was not a good reading month. I think I'm in a bit of a reading slump because books that would usually take me only a few days to read took me like weeks. It was a whole thing. But anyways, let's just get into what I read. First book I finished was The Prisoner's Throne. I gave The Stolen Heir 4 stars. I actually quite liked The Stolen Heir. It's not as good as The Cruel Prince, but it was still nice to be back in that world again. And I quite liked it. I liked seeing Ren's point of view, and I thought there were definitely parts that I thought were unnecessary or that were a little silly, but like it was still good nonetheless. But The Prisoner's Throne I did not really like that much. I did give it a 3 stars. I thought it was okay. I did like the Jude and Cardan moments, like that's what's cute, and I feel like that's why a lot of people do read that book, is specifically for that. But I don't know, I just thought it was very confusing to read. The structure just didn't flow very well. I do have somebody's review that I found on Goodreads on here. I saved it because they say the exact thing I want to say. It is Jillian's review. She said, like, on one hand, the political intrigue and betrayals was done well, but on the other, the pacing was inconsistent. The romance and character development was lacking, which is exactly how I feel. I felt like the pacing was just so weird that I was getting so confused on, wait, we were just talking about that, why is this happening now? It was just so fast sometimes, but then at other times, so slow. I was like, why is it taking us 3 weeks to get to somewhere? And I also just didn't like how Oak, I felt like everything in this book was a little over-explained. I feel like Oak just kept having to re-explain over and over who his mother was. And I'm like, girl, I have reading comprehension. I know who your mother is. Tell me once. Like, all they had to tell me was once who Lilithorpe was. And I'm like, yeah, every time you mention Oak's mother, say like Lilithorpe, I'll understand who you're talking about. But every single time they explained who Lilithorpe was in full, I was like, I don't need to know who did this to her or what kind of powers she had. I know, you explained it to me once. Why every single time you bring it up, you're explaining it again? I don't need it. And in this book, I just didn't really feel I didn't feel like Ren and Oak really liked each other. And this was mainly Oak's fault. He kept being like, oh, I love her so much. She's just everything I want and more. But then anytime she was like giving him like signals, like she wasn't outright saying to him what he needs to do, but she was trying to signal him like, bitch, listen to what I'm saying. He's just all like, she's crazy. Like, I don't understand what she's saying, like, at all. Like, I can't believe she would do this to me. Like, such a traitor. Why would she do something like this? Girl, what? You said you loved her like 2 minutes ago and now you're backtracking because you don't understand what she's doing. Like, how do you not understand that she's trying to help you? Do you really not trust her that much? But you say you love her. So I was just like, I don't get it. Oak was pissing me the fuck off in this one. The connection between the characters wasn't good, the pacing was off, and it just really disappointed me. And I'm sad about it. The next book I read is The Proposal. It is a sci-fi romance. So this book is about a character who is space-born, and they are in a war at the moment in space. And they're writing letters to their lover who is a Earth-born citizen. Yeah, it's basically love letters, but also telling them what is happening up in space in this war, telling them about the machines they are using, about the people they are with and stuff. And I just found this book to be so utterly romantic. The way that the character described their love for the person in the letters was just so beautiful and so elegantly written, and it made me like tear up sometimes, and it made me blush too, because I was like, it felt like they were writing to me, and I was just like, oh, this is my baby. It was just so well written. I did get very confused during the talks about, you know, the ship's weapons and stuff, and like when it talked about light years or light seconds, as I think they called it. I did get very confused on those points, but that's just me. But otherwise, they didn't really talk about all the scientific stuff too much, so I wasn't too confused. I just really liked knowing what this character was doing in space, knowing their relationships with the other people they were with, and I thought it was really good. The next book I read is Elder Race. This is like a fantasy sci-fi, and it's really, really cool the way it's written. It is written, like, one character's POV is through a fantasy lens, and you see her going through the world and seeing everything like it's fantasy. Like, the guy's a sorcerer, these are demons they're fighting, and it was so cool. But then in the sorcerer's lens, he's just a scientist. He's a scientist, and he sees those demons as just robots, and he sees these people as like a primitive people that he just needs to watch. So it was really cool in that way, but I just kept getting so confused. I think especially with like the science talk, but even in the fantasy realm, sometimes this girl was losing me. I was just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, honey. I did give it a 2.5, which is unfortunate. Maybe rethinking about it, I'd give it a 3 because I do really like the style of it, and I do like the storyline. I just got a little too confused. And the last book I listened to this month is The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. This is a children's book, and I didn't know it when I first started listening to it. I mean, I should have gathered that it was, so it's definitely my fault. It's also kind of a Christmas book. I mean, it's not a Christmas book, but it's set around Christmas, which again, I also forgot when I started listening to it. I gave it a 3 stars because to me, it was very, basic storyline. But if you have a kid, please read this book. I feel like this book will be a 5 stars to any kid. Like, this book was so good. The love that these children had for each other, for their family, for their home, and for their neighbors and stuff was just so sweet. It is about these children. I forgot how many there were, like 5 or 6 children, I think, and they are about to be kicked out of their home because their landlord is not renewing their lease. So these kids have decided to team up and try to figure out some way to convince their landlord to let them stay in their home, and it's just very sweet. It's a very, very sweet book and very endearing, and I definitely recommend it for children. And yeah, that's all I read this month. Man, that slump was slumping me this month. It really was. I just could not pick up any sort of book for some reason. Hopefully next month will be much better. Well, this month. Hopefully this month will be much better. I'm praying and hoping. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Why not? It's 2 simple buttons. Let's do it. Might be kind of fun. And comment down below the spaceship emoji if you watched till now. And I hope to see you again. Bye.